So, when it comes to forgiveness, things are actually much simpler and yet much more challenging than we usually make it out to be. Simpler because it's a pretty basic one, two, three process, but challenging because we're actually addicted to not doing it. Unforgiveness, grievance, or resentment, all of which are a product of emotional repression, are like a drug to us. So, what are the one, two, three steps? Well, it's the same process as resolving emotional repression. One, you identify what emotion you primarily repress. This is going to be either powerful emotions like anger or vulnerable emotions like sadness and grief. You can identify this by looking at the person you haven't forgiven or want to forgive in your mind's eye and saying this: it's okay to express my anger to them right now, or it's okay to express my sadness and hurt to them right now. And whichever emotion you get a bigger contracted no or objection on in the body, that's the emotion that you primarily repress, or that's your what we call dominant repression in KI. So that's step one. Step two is clearing the body of the repression of that emotion, right? So doing enough emotional repression work to the point where your body lets you express your dominant repression to that person. So if you're an anger repressor, you want a yes, I can express this anger from the body. And if you're a hurt repressor, yes, I can express this hurt. Step three, final step, is dissolving the identification with whichever emotion you primarily repress, which again means doing enough emotional repression work to where your system doesn't need to cling to that particular emotion any longer. So for an anger repressor, you want a I don't need to be angry from the body, and from a hurt repressor, I don't need to be hurt. The quote unforgiveness that we feel in our body is ultimately an emotion that we both repressed and identified with at the time of the event with this person, and probably before, honestly. And what does that mean? It means as humans, we tend to cut and paste the unforgiveness or the emotions that we're repressing and identifying with from our primary caregivers onto other people in our lives. And this is what makes the forgiveness process so challenging and not just something that you can kind of decide to do on a whim. To truly forgive someone means to come out of the emotional repression and identification that you've been holding on to, usually for decades. It's a suffering state that you've become so accustomed to that it feels like it's you, which is part of why in religion there's such a big emphasis put on dying to yourself, right? Because that's what forgiveness feels like. It's both expressing and letting go of the emotions that we promised ourselves we'd never express or let go of. And I'll just tell you this, you cannot do this without getting into your body and resolving emotional repression. So if you or someone you know is claiming to have forgiven without doing that, then you can count on it being lip service. But if you'd like to be mentored in the real thing, tap the link in the caption of the bio.